Yeah. I have a friend of mine who works very closely with me in few ministries. So he tells me, brother, every time no, I attend this session with my wife, after that we fight. So I hope that doesn't happen here. And so this is a session that's going to be uh, mainly for the couples, married couples. But then I do understand there are others here. So you're getting an head start, right? So, because I have also heard people after these sessions who come and say, no, I wish I had known this before. Okay? So, a few things that we are going to discuss or work out in the workshop. I stand here not as somebody who's been able to put everything into practice. Okay? As a husband, I am still struggling. As a father of 2 children, I still struggle. Okay? So if you ask me what qualifies you to speak about this, I say, I am married and I'm still married. Okay? So, can I have that? Yeah. Right. I'm sure that we all will agree that for any relationship, whether it's between parents and children, or between brothers and sisters, or between friends, love is the basis. Love is the foundation on which all relationships are built. But unfortunately, the problem today is we don't know what is love. Right? We live in a world now where the word love is what? Very freely used. Can you give me a few examples where all know this word love is often used? Uh, I love ice cream. Nice. I love coffee. Right? What do we really mean by that? When we say, I love ice cream, I love candies, so on and so forth. So, what is the real meaning? We are simply saying, I like it. But the word we use it is what? Love. Right? Uh, it's a very confusing and complex word. Imagine, like, you are seeing me for the first time, and I say, I love Judy. Okay? Now, Judy is my pet dog. Okay? I love Judy. Right? But then, and then if I also say, I love my wife Gigi. That's my wife's name. I love my wife's Gigi. Now, I'm sure we know that we don't mean the same when we say, I love ice cream, I love Judy, and I love what? Gigi. No? If that is the impression I give to my wife, I love you as ice cream, I love you as what? Judy. Now, so we need to first try to understand the word love in the biblical sense. There are many, many Bible descriptions about love. And one of that we all know, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. But then the best example, not just description, but a lived out description is our Lord Jesus Christ. Agreed? We can talk about the height of love, the width of love, and the depth of love, all the concepts of love. But love personified in a person, there's nothing more than that. Agreed? And that's why whenever the Bible talks about love in relationship, especially relationship between husband and wife, Christ is brought out as what? The ultimate example. Now look at this verse. This is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 2. I don't know, uh, sometimes, we are very selective. We pick up verses and then we already have some ideology, and then, like proof texting, we do it. Now, there's one of the things is like, we have this idea, husbands are to love what? Hello? Husbands are to love wives. Okay? How about vice versa? Hello? But the thing is, what we need to understand is, Paul is actually beginning the passage talking about love as the basis of what? All relationships. So now look at this verse here. Walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Okay? So walk in the way of love is a commandment that God has given to husbands and wives. Because this is the basis on which everything else is built. Now, trying to understand love, I want to just say, right, the second slide. Yeah. Okay. Now, somehow, we often associate the word love with what? A nice feeling? Yes or no? Now, I remember talking with a couple, meaning they were still not married couple, but then came to me for some premarital counseling, and I was talking to them, and I said something like this: you both need to prepare yourself to love each other. And this fellow shot up. He said, brother, it has to come naturally, brother. How do you prepare to love? In Tamil, he said, no, you tana varradu, brother. That means, no, it has to come on its own. Now, how do you prepare to love? So, what he meant and understood is, love is what? More than nice feeling, okay, you have for each other. Now, I'm not saying love is devoid of what? Feelings and emotions. In love, there is emotion, there is feeling, and then as we call, there is also romance. But what we need to understand is, love is more than all that. In fact, no, the way the Bible describes or even defines love is, it is a commandment. Now look at those two verses. Okay? You shall love the Lord. Now what if we decide, Lord, only when I feel I love you? Hello? Now how many days you wake up feeling loving him? It all depends on like when you go to bed the previous day. And with what mood you go to bed the previous day. If it has to be what? Based on your feelings. The scripture says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. It's a commandment. It's something like a verb. Love is a verb. It is something, you have to act on. Okay? Now the same tone is used. Husbands, we all wish, there was something given in the bracket. When you feel like loving your wife, love them. But that's not the way it's presented. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved. So we all have to now consider, love is not something that's going to come naturally. Love is something we all have to work out. Now, I want to ask all the married couples here, how many of you will agree marriage is hard work? Praise the Lord. Others are still living in utopia. Marriage is hard work because loving is what? Loving is what? Hard work. I want to ask all the married people here, how many of you have experienced that daily Day after day, you wake up and you feel like hugging your wife or husband and say, I love you? No. Maybe once in a blue moon. Or maybe like, no, when there are like, you have a lot of other reasons to say that. Okay? But the Bible commands us that we are to love each other. Now, this is one way by which, no, I would like to demonstrate. Now, how many of you have the experience of driving a brand new car? How many of you remember, like, no, brand new car from the showroom, and then you like the car, and then your first drive home, you bring it, and then you park it. You love the whole experience, isn't it? You love the whole experience, meaning like there's no problem in igniting the vehicle, feather touch, and then no, you have acceleration, fantastic. The braking is what? Awesome. And the interiors look what? Fantastic, amazing. And the whole, like you walk around your vehicle, and then no, you feel a sense of what? Pride, something you have accomplished, right? And you like the exteriors, the shine of the car and all that. Yes, that's when no, you feel like saying, no, I love this car. Yes, hello? I love this car. And then no, you go around bragging to people. What? This is my car. You have it all over the Facebook. You have it what? All over the Instagram. And then no, you will maneuver the conversation so that people will ask you about the car. Yes or no? You'll do all that. Because no, you feel really proud of what? Your car. Now, 10 years down the line. Hello? 10 years down the line. Okay? If you are driving that in Bangalore, okay, where there's bumper to bumper traffic, your bumpers are gone. Okay? And there are dents all over the car. The shine is gone. And then you feel really ashamed to be inside it because the interiors are soiled and shabby. And then the acceleration, sometimes you feel like what? Huh? Kicking, and then you have experience of breakdown, doesn't start, all those things. I want to ask you, what is your feeling for this car now? What is the feeling you have for this car? Would you like to feel like no? No. I think many of us would actually be thinking, when am I going to get rid of this? I tell you, brothers and sisters, that's what happens to all our feelings. If you are not able to differentiate between feelings and love, I tell you, I have come across young couple, believe me, who come, sat, we have worked for hours and hours together, and then one person says, my love for him is dead. My love for him is what? Dead. And you keep wondering, can love be dead and gone? What they actually, if they're saying, my feeling, my romance for my spouse is gone, okay, I agree, let's try to revive it. But if a person confuses between the nice feeling and love, I think there is something basically wrong. To all those people who are yet to be married, set your idea about love right. And I want to say, maybe I'm sure all those who are married here will agree with me that you know what? Like 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 40 years down the line, you don't feel like holding each other and running around the trees. The scenes that you see on all this TV serials and all that. Okay? Yes, we all need to spice up our marriage. We all try to do things that will really enhance our romance. That's a different topic. But what I'm trying to say is, love is not that. Love is actually a commitment. Love is actually a command. It's a command. Okay? And for us, when it comes to, as I already pointed out, when it comes to our wedding ceremony in front of God, in front of all of God's children, we promise to each other, no matter what happens, until death do us part, we will stick to each other. I also want to suggest another movie. Is it okay, Uncle, to suggest movies? Okay. Because now I have run into problems in some places. Okay? There's a movie called A Vow to Cherish. There's a movie called A Vow to Cherish. That also something, you need to watch with your spouse. And a couple of times I watched that, and by the end of that, you are all in tears. It reminds us of that commitment we made to each other. Okay? So, having said that, let me just spend a few minutes to this way, brother. Okay. Now, you know what? Now, let's talk about love. At the heart of mankind's existence is a desire to be intimate and to be loved by one another. You all agree? No, I think it was Shakespeare who said, to love and to be loved. See, there is this need in all of us to experience love and also to what? To give love. To receive love and also to give love. Perhaps God is the one who first identified this. It is not good for a man to be alone. Now, I could also say that being used to Eve, it is not good for a woman to be alone. There are exceptions. Exceptions are exceptions. And the Bible also very clearly talks about those scenarios. But we are talking about the norm. Okay? Now, that means inside us, I want you to imagine inside us there is a tank. Okay, don't ask me where it is. The doctors are here. Nobody teaches that in anatomy. Okay? There is a tank called love tank. There is an inside love tank that is craving to be what? Filled with love. What do I mean? See, I tell you, anybody here, okay, anyone who has worked with young children, you know this better than anybody else. You know what? What children need, they may not even understand the definition of love, but what they need is actually a sense of security. Feeling I belong to this place. I belong to him. I feel secure here. Hope and confidence. Okay, I'm not living under terror. I'm not living under fear. I'm not forced into this. No, there is chances of growing, expanding my dreams. Okay, that sense, and also the sense of self-worth. So this is all we mean when we say no, there is a love tank. Okay, you want to experience that sense of security, hope, confidence, and self-worth. I tell you, no matter who you are, all of us will long for it. So there is this tank to love and to be loved. Okay? Now, brother, it's okay that if you can do it. Yeah. The next slide. Okay? So I want you to imagine we all have a love tank inside us. If you're sitting beside your spouse, can you look at that person and tell him that? Tell him, tell her that. Tell him, tell her that I have a love tank inside me. Tell each other. I have a love tank inside me. Hello? See, look here. So you know what? Small children, they don't know how to really say things. when they don't know how to say things, what do? They throw tantrums, right? Yes or no? Suddenly they will start what? Crying. Huh? And you keep wondering why the child is crying. And you keep trying out. You want a toy? Mm. You want some food? Mm. Tell me what you need. But what is a sign the child is not satisfied? The child is not feeling secure. The child is not feeling happy. The child is feeling uncomfortable. How do you know that? By all the tantrums, where all these signs the child throws up. You will have to figure it out. I want to say, husbands and wives, sometimes your spouse is throwing up some signs and you are not actually figuring it out. And all those signs that your spouses are actually showing up is, in a way, they are saying, my love tank is empty. My love tank is empty. That means, I'll give you an example. One morning, you don't know why your spouse is so irritated, and then for anything that you ask, he or she is like replying with nonsense and then shouting at you, and you keep wondering, this man went to bed with proper mind. I don't know what happened. Simple. His love tank is running empty. There is something. See, don't look at the surface. Don't look at the surface issues. There's something, that there is a longing which is not met. Now, remember, move on, brother. You know what? There is a love tank which is longing to be filled. Yes. Next one. There is also from your love tank which is also aching to pass on the love. So you may be asking, why can't this love tank fill itself? Hello? Hello? That's where the whole issue is. You can't do that. There is no longing for love. There is also love in you that you want to pass on. But you are not able to do that on your own. You need another person. This is where I want to say, the beauty of Christian marriage is that God gives you that person as spouse. I tell you, you may have other loving people in your life. Your parents, your siblings, okay, your well-wishers and friends and all that. But I want to say, this love tank is kept inside you to give out love to that one and also to receive love that from that one. Move to the next one, brother. You know what? Can you just, I think there are some animations there. Yeah. Okay. Husband needs to fill the wife's love tank. The same way, wife needs to fill what? The husband's love tank. I want to have a word of caution here. You know what is that? And I want to really ask all the young couples here. This is something we have to think about it. You know what is that? After marriage, if you're still feeling lonely, there is really something going on. And I want to say this bluntly to all the young couples who are here. If God provided you, your husband or wife, to take away that loneliness, and even after marriage, you feel that you're lonely, I want to say, your marriage is not fulfilling this purpose. And you need to work out your marriage. You know why I'm saying this with caution? I'm sure that, don't say that this doesn't happen among Christians. Please don't tell me that this is not happening in the church. These are the days where we find many extra marital relationships. It may not even be as bad as you think, where people move out and start living together as separate couples and all that. But then at the mind level, they have estranged from their real spouses and they are becoming attached to somebody else. Maybe in the workplace, maybe in another environment. This is happening in many places. A few years ago, I was really startled to read in Times of India an article. The title of the article was, "How do you balance between your house spouse and work spouse?" I said, what is happening? There was some guy who was trying to explain, because these days, okay, if both of you are working, let's be honest. If both of you are working, you're spending more time outside your home than what? Inside your home. That means the time that you interact with other people are more than the time that you interact with your own spouse. Are you following what I'm trying to say? That means there are more chances to get emotionally entangled with somebody in the workspace if your love tank is empty. So please, I would really encourage you as husbands and wife to think about this seriously. Okay, move on. Okay, is your spouse love tank full or empty is something that you have to think. Yes. Now let's go into this whole aspect. How to express love. Okay, this is where I want to introduce the word love language. What is language for? What is language? Communication, right? Okay. Now, you know what? There are people who say, there is love inside me. The spouse would say, what is the use if it is inside you? Huh? Hello? Yes or no? See, sometimes it's a strange thing. You ask husbands, they would say, no, like, yeah, I love my life so much. You go and talk to the wife, this man doesn't even give me time. And the man then ask, what is the relationship between love and time? That's where our problem is. Our problem is, you know what? Many of us, we have not learned intentionally what? Expressing, communicating our love. So I am not saying that we don't have love. We may be what? Having love for each other. But there is some kind of what? Communication gap. And the reason is we are all different people. Agreed? Are we all different people? Yes, we are all so unique and different. I come from one family background and my expectations are different. What I've seen in my parents are different. And then when I'm united with somebody else, and they also come with all the baggage. Yes? So, here is something that I've learned a few years ago. And when I first read this book, it was so fascinating. And then I thought I should talk about this because it is also biblical. Move on. Now, let me first state what we are talking about. Expression of love. Everybody receives love in a different way. The difficulty in relationships is that we show love in the way that we would like to receive it. That means if you're somebody loves to talk, and your spouse is somebody is what? Crisp. You have one word answers? Hello? Huh? So imagine, like now I'm here in Bombay, then I go back from here, and my wife asks me this question, how was the conference? It was good. And then the thing is for me it's full stop. The thing is, like for her, if she is somebody to talk, what she's asking me is, how was the conference? I need to start explaining from the moment I left my home. See, during this travel from the house to the airport, the car driver was going very slow, and I had to nudge him several times, hello, and all. And finally, when I reached the airport, this happened, that happened, and all that. Now, what is the problem? Her love language is words. For me, for whatever reason, that is not my love language. Do you understand? Okay, I'll come to that. That means, we both love each other. We both love each other. But the problem is, she wants something which I'm not able to consciously what? Understand and give her. So, Everybody receives love in a different way. You need to tell yourself, okay, the next time, no, your wife complains or your husband complains to you that you're not giving, you're not loving me. No, okay, I want to ask you, do you at times ask each other, do you love me? You know what? I'm married for 24 years now. Okay? I'm just 47, but married for 24 years. Okay, I got married when I was 23, completing just 22. I got married. But I tell you, there are times, when I ask my wife, do you love me? And she will say yes. And I will ask her, how much? And we have a way of exchanging. And she would say, no, like thermometer. She will say 95 degrees, 98 degrees, 109, and all that. The reason I'm saying is sometimes we need to ask. Don't take it for granted. Do you love? How much do you love? Okay, some of you might come from conservative families. How many of you from Kerala background? All this is very sacred. Huh? You see, I tell you, some of us, you know what? We are not used to this. Hello? We are not used to this. If you ask a typical Keralite, how do you show your life? Typical Keralite woman, how do you show your life, love to your husband? The only way she knows is no. Morning breakfast, fill the table. Afternoon lunch, fill the table. And evening what? Fill the table. And poor fellow, if he is from another culture, he might be wondering, is this woman does not have any time apart from being in kitchen? Okay? Think about it. The major reason our love has little effect in lives of others is simply because we tend to speak in the language that is understood by us rather than the love which our loved ones understands. Now, moving on, brother. Okay. How many of you have read this book? I want to suggest this book to all of you. It's an awesome book. Okay? He's a Baptist guy. We may not agree with everything that he has written, but the overall principles are biblical. And then the 5 love languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. Okay? So he actually talks about 5 ways in which, when we say ways, he mentions that as languages. Okay? The 5 love languages. What are they? Acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, and receiving gifts. He identifies these are 5 major ways by which we all can communicate love with each other as husbands and wives. Move on, brother. Okay? 5 languages. The way in which we give or receive love is called as love language. Move on. Okay? Now, before I go any further, and I want to give, can somebody help me with just passing on? Yeah. 1 to each one of them. Yeah. First I want, okay, can all the couples raise your hands? Okay. First pass it on to all the couples. 1 for wife, 1 for husband. Can you keep your hands up for a few seconds? Oh, no, one for separately. Yeah. Yeah. Separate. 1 for each. Okay, there are 30 pairs of statements on two sheets, the first two pages. What you have to do is, from each pair, whichever represents you or what you will do or what you like, okay, between those two statements, you have to choose just one, the one that is most appropriate for your own understanding or your own desire and or where you stand. Okay, so between the two statements in each pair, choose only one. Can you do that, please? This is called as a workshop. You have to do something. Okay? Now, please don't discuss with your spouse if you're sitting beside them. Don't discuss. Let's do the discussion later. Now, you do this. I hope you all got it. Between the two statements in each pair, choose the one that represents you currently, not what you like to be. Not what you like to be or what you want to be. As of now, who you are. pressing this one. So it is here. I couldn't see this. What happened? Okay, you have done the grading. Yes. So keep that with you for the time being. Then I will give you some time for husbands and wives to discuss about it. Right? Now, you know what? This is an exercise that will, number one, help you to understand what is God's love language. The problem is sometimes, we don't know what is our love language. Meaning, we don't know what to expect from our wives. We don't know what to expect from our husbands. Because the answers are they're not clear. We don't know. Okay? On the other hand, it also helps you to understand what is your spouse love language. Meaning, how do I express my love? In fact, is what now he is expecting from me. If this is what she is expecting from me, how can I give that to her? Okay, so before now, I spent some time now finally giving you a time for discussion. Now, let me just now go over these 5 love languages. Number one, I would say no words. Obviously, words communicate a lot, right? Yes, our words, what we speak at home with each other, right? Sometimes, you know what, the first few months of our marriage, we're very careful about what we communicate. No, we don't want to hurt each other and all that. And then, you know what, after a while, we take it for granted. Hello? This is what we have done to our parents, yes or no? Right? You, you know what? Sometimes I tell my children how I love you to be the same, no, at home also as you are in the school. Because whenever we go to the parent teachers meet, they have all amazing things to talk about our children. And one of the things they ask is, are your children like this at home also? Okay. And you know what? My son, who is just like not, he's in ninth now. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. He said, no, this is the only place, where I can be myself. Hello? The problem is we carry the same attitude into what? Marriage. We take the partner for what? Granted. And that's when, you know what? All wrong things begin to happen. Okay? So, now when it comes to words, now look at that. I think all of us, okay, whether you're a husband or a wife, I think we all need words of affection. Meaning, we want our spouses to tell us, like, no, their affection towards us. Meaning, maybe by words like, okay, love being with you. I love to come back and stay here. Like, for instance, like, uh, even I tell you, like, when you are away from your home, call back and tell your wife, I'm feeling homesick. Okay? You don't have to make it up. If you're really feeling homesick, tell her, don't just keep it with you. Tell her I'm homesick. No, I'm eagerly waiting to return back home. These are words, no, of affection, affirmation for the spouse. The same way, words of comfort, words of praise, words of affirmation. You know what? Sometimes, we are very generous in giving this to what? Other people. Somebody in the church is singing well, we go after them. Beautiful, excellent, amazing. And your wife will be singing all the time at home. And you would have never, ever appreciated what? Hello? Her singing. You know what she might be thinking? This man goes around, tells all women how beautiful they are, singing and all that, but he has never appreciated what? Me even once. Hello? You might not be doing that intentionally, but you're taking that for what? Granted. Okay? And words of affirmation. You know what? Words of comfort also. You know what? One of the problems that we all face today is like if a husband returns from work, the wife is also struggling, the husband is also struggling. And the only place where you try to unwind is what? Your home. Sometimes it is done in a very insensitive way where you begin to hurt each other. Sometimes what? If your husband is coming home and then his face is not looking good, okay? If the wife is able to just take note of that and perhaps take some time to ask him what is wrong, what's happening, okay? And if needed, give that words of comfort. I tell you, if spouse cannot give comfort to the partner, who else do you think can give comfort? Now, even I tell you, sometimes the husbands and wives can become very much critical. I heard people say this. My wife is the worst critic. Meaning they come from they come from church, and poor fellow would have got up for giving some exhortation, and then as soon as he comes home, the wife says, "What is this? Is that the way you speak? No, didn't you see how that brother stood up and spoke?" You understand what I'm trying to say? You're actually putting him down. You're not building his confidence. You're actually what? Putting that person down. The same way men also could do that. Right? Instead of affirming what your wife does at home, you keep comparing her. See, one thing I want to say it very clear is, please don't take your wife for granted, husband for granted, when you try to compare that person with others. You never know. They will not tell you openly. You never know how much it hurts them. Even for, like, there are people say, no, it's a joke, brother. No, it's just for the sake of laughter. No, we do this. But I want to say, no, it's not just a matter of laughing at. It sometimes causes deep wounds. Within the family, see to that, there are words of affection, happening, the words of comfort given, words of praise, words of affirmation, because you never know. That's what your partner's love language could be. One-to-one time, quality time, they say. Now, it's very true. How many of you husbands and wives, if you're honest, tell me, how much time do we spend for each other? It's a big thing. Yes, we are at home. We are at home, but then we still don't spend quality time. Meaning, time only exclusively for each other. Especially in our Indian context, when you talk about family, who all are included in the family? Tell me. Appa, Amma, Pati, Tata. Then what? Nathanar, like siblings, husbands, wives. They're all included. And sometimes, what? In the process of all this, I'm not saying those relationships are bad or you should cut away all those relationships. That's not my point. But are you spending? Now, another thing, let me say. And sometimes, after marriage, till you have children, you are able to spend time for each other. But after children, what happens? Hello? We live for children. I've heard people say when they come for counseling, they say, "But for my children, I would have left him long ago." Hello? So what happens? All others take our time and all that. And therefore, no, we lose this quality time. No, I would never forget this incident. Okay, I would never forget. This is a warning for all the busy men here. Okay, you know what? Sometimes, you know what? There is conversation happening, but we are not listening. We are not intently listening. This happened in one of the families. Okay, this wife was actually complaining to her husband that she was having an ache. She was having an ache on this side of the face. Okay, she was feeling uncomfortable. It seems she said many a time to her husband, either the husband took it very casually or the husband did not hear. He heard it but did not take it. Okay, one day she collapsed. She had a stroke. Okay, and one of the things that when she said, I was telling him to take me to the hospital, and you know what the husband said? No, I didn't take it seriously. I thought you were saying it, just like, okay, there's some pain, but I didn't know that it was so serious. You know what is happening there? There is listening, but very superficial, not quality time. So there are many, many things that I can talk about, but we don't have time. So what I've decided is, I have already given a few more sheets of paper to be copied and to be distributed to all of you. Brother Johnny will do that. So it has got a lot of ideas, biblical principles, how you build each of these love languages. Okay, eye contact, being a good listener, creating conversations, finding opportunities. Now I want to ask you, what are the kind of conversations we usually have between husbands and wife? Hello? What's for dinner? Very good. What's for dinner? Then get me the grocery list. Hello? Get me the grocery list. Okay? Then what? Huh? Then what? Either about children's fees, or I'm not saying no, these are not important issues. Those are all important issues. But have we spent no time asking each other, how do you feel? Hello? See, that's something I discovered some time ago, that we don't even ask each other what? How do you feel? Yes, we are all getting things done. You know what is getting things done? Huh? All our work is done. But in the process, what is happening to that person's inner being? Hello? Do you understand what I'm saying? That needs time. Taking time off. And for people like me, okay, who loves to be doing, how many of you can say that I'm a doer? Like an action person. Sitting and talking and all that is not for me. How many of you think like that? Hello? You're all amazing people, yeah? Huh? You know what? If you're like me, it's very, very difficult. Sometimes, that's why I said love is what? Love is what? Hard work. It is against my nature. It is against what I love to do. Okay? Think about it. And the next thing, Gary Chapman talks about it is physical touch. Okay? Now, hugs, kisses, holding hands, sitting beside each other, cuddling and all that. This is part of what? See, you know what? In our culture, like I was born and raised in Tamil Nadu. We have this culture. If the husband is going, 10 feet behind, the wife will be walking. Okay? So holding hands is considered as what? Something what? So ichichi. Something not appropriate. But I want to tell you, If you look at the Bible, it's amazing how much the Bible talks about physical intimacy. It doesn't always have to be sex. There are different ways by which you can show what? You love to be in physical touch with each other. I'll tell you one story. This is like a golf player. His name is, if my memory is right, his name is Norman Gregg. Okay? A world-class golf player. Okay? I read this in this book, and I would never forget this. He was like somebody, the top-notch champion. He won all the leagues and all that. It so happened he lost the finals of a major tournament. And you know what? After the match is over, you have the handshaking formality where the winner and the loser meet and then they shake hands. Okay? Norman lost the match. And then he was crying, in the sense like he was looking sad, and then he goes there and he holds the hands to shake the winner. But you know what? The winner, instead of just shaking his hand, he gave a nice tight hug to Norman. And after that, Norman cried and cried. Even when he came to the interview, he was like in tears, and all this was captured on TV. And the interviewer asks him, "We have never seen you cry before. We have never seen you cry before. No, is it because you lost this match, this all-important match?" And Norman says, winning and losing is part of the game. Winning and losing is part of the game. I am not crying because I lost the match. I am crying because he then utters the name of the winner and he says, he touched a raw nerve inside me when he hugged me. He said, in all my life, I have never experienced the hug of my father. For the first time in my life, I've experienced such a warm hug. You know what? The power of physical touch is something not to be undermined. And especially between husbands and wives or parents and children. This is scientifically proven, medically they have talked about this. There are many, many researches that have happened. The therapeutic value of physical touch. Even Christ did that. Touching of a leper. Sitting beside a Samaritan woman. You know what? I tell you, if you as husbands and wives, if this is not one of the love languages that should dominate your life, I think you should reconsider. Okay, so let me move on to the next thing. The other thing that he says, thoughtful gifts. Do you have the habits of giving gifts? Again, culture plays an important role. Right? Culture. If you are from some conservative culture, the issue is like gift. What gift? Birthday celebration. What birthday celebration? Look, our forefathers have not done it. Then there are also people who say, quote from the Bible, birthday celebration is what? Is a sin. Only there are 2 instances where birthdays were celebrated and both ended up in tragedy. Forget about all that, man. Okay? Now, we need to be modest in whatever we do. Okay? There's nothing wrong in thanking God together as a family. Okay? Now, there are different ways to celebrate important occasions. To make the other person feel what? He's important, she's important, she's so special. And one of the ways by which we can all do that is gift. And the Bible also talks about it. You know what? The Holy Spirit is talked about as what? It's gift from God. Isn't it? Christ himself is what? Indescribable. Gift to us. God's gift to us. So I want to ask the spouses here, okay? You know what? Some people think demanding and giving is what? Gift. That means no spouse has to tell, please, the next Diwali comes, no. There will be so many offers, no. Please, yeah. Please buy me this. And then you buy and give. That is not gift. That is not gift. Okay? There is a surprise element. That involves your what? You have been thinking about it. And you also have to be very careful. Like, as I said, no, this is where knowing your partner's love language is important. One thing I've discovered in my 24 years of life, I cannot actually bribe my wife. Hello? Because she is not the kind of person who is going to be excited with what? Gifts. That is not her love language. I'll give an example. I travel a lot, and then there was this time where I had gone away from family for almost 2 months, and then this time I wanted to surprise her and make her feel very good and all that. That's what I thought. Okay. Now from the airport, I have never done this before. I wanted to buy something from that place, but I couldn't do it. But from the airport, I buy an amazing Titan watch. A Titan watch. Okay. A lady's watch. And then nicely packed and all that. I go to my home. I invite my wife. I tell her, I have brought something for you. And I gave it to her. There was a smile. She opened it. She said, oh, watch, eh? She said, thank you. Kept it aside. I have never seen that being worn by her. Okay? Now, she is not the type where, I can really make her feel loved by giving what? Gifts. If I ask my wife, what is that you really feel loved? Sit and talk. And that's the most difficult thing for me. So you know what? One of the ways by which God sanctifies me is through my marriage. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hello? You want to become more like Christ? Get married. You want to be more like Christ? Stay married. You know why? That's when you feel like what? All your rough edges, the things that you really don't want to do, you're actually what? Made to do. So giving gifts is something I would say it's like making the other person feel that you're always in my thought. Okay? It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be what? You know what? I would never forget what my children did to me once. And sometimes, when you travel, you miss your birthdays. You miss your important, occasions. Okay? Tomorrow is my son's birthday. And day after tomorrow is our wedding anniversary. That'll be our 24th wedding anniversary. Okay? So there are times, when we miss it. Once I remember when I missed my birthday, both my children, they did something like a handy work and all that. Okay, it was not something very fancy or something very costly, something they worked out. But you know what? As a father, when they handed over this to me, I felt so special. I felt so loved. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think we all need it, man. You know what? Sometimes, we are old people. I tell you, so you know what? Sometimes, I don't know about Dr. Stephen, like he's heading in hospital and all that. But you know what? Sometimes, even people like him, me, and all others, sometimes, you are like at the leadership level and all that. But we also long for what? Appreciation. Doesn't have to be flattering and all that. Now, sometimes, like you're lonely at the top. Because now all others take things for granted. Oh, he is already up there and all that. So does he really need what? Huh? a word of praise and appreciation. But I tell you, we are all human beings. We are all human beings. All said and done, whether you're young or old, okay, we all long to be what? Loved. So take this seriously. Let me move on to the final one and then we'll close. Acts of service. Acts of service. You know what? Love is also a verb, doing things, right? Doing things. Like we all have stereotypes. What is our Indian stereotype of husband and wife? Tell me. Indian stereotype? Husbands and wives? What's the wife's place? Kitchen. Poor girl, she's saying that. Okay. What's the husband's place? Uh, Out there, right? And all that. Okay. I'm not trying to talk about all those things, but all that I want to say is sometimes, like this act of service, something the other person continues to do, usually does it as a duty. The partner, you realize that you're going to step in and do that for them. Okay, it can be done both ways. Okay, and how do you know that? Sometimes your wife has been telling you that she has been telling you in the sense, not as a demand, but saying, no, can you please do this? And for whatever reason, no, you have been saying no, no, no. And then once in a while, even without she telling you, you know what she requires, you do that on her behalf. I tell you, that's an act of service. Now, I'll ask you one thing. Whose job is ironing the clothes? Whose job is ironing the clothes? Okay. These days we outsource everything. That's a different story. Okay. But if you are doing it at home, both. Okay. Now I tell you, in my home, the ironing job is mine. Okay. Now, you know what? Many a time, without me telling that, my wife, although she doesn't know how to do that, she would volunteer and do that and keep it ready. And when I see that, I know this. She has gone the extra mile. I want to ask you, whose job is washing the car? Hello? No, I tell you, in our home, no, the kind of general agreement is washing the car is my job. But you know what? Many a time, it is my wife. She goes that extra mile and she does that. And I know she does all that to show me that she really cares for me. She doesn't have to do that. Okay, she doesn't have to do that. But she does that in order to express her love to me. See, I tell you, when you are together as a family, over a period of time, you begin to understand what each other likes. Okay? And then, you live your life where you really want to care for each other. I want to close it here. Sorry. Yeah. So, can you just now exchange with your spouse? Okay. Now, now exchange the paper with your spouse. Underline. Okay. Now, see, that means if you have the paper given to you by your spouse, remember that is your spouse's love language. Now, can I take one couple as an example? Can I pick on someone here? Hello, Johnny? Yes. Come. Johnny is more than willing. Come on, sister. So this is sisters. Okay. Uh, so can you read what are her love languages? The top.
Yeah.
The top.
Yeah, the top is very clearly quality time. B. Yeah, the second is coming distant, acts of service. Then after that comes words of affirmation.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I said first was quality time, second was acts of service, then words of affirmation, then gifts, then physical touch. Okay. It's not adding
So,
up to 30.
quality time, and the next two would be words of affirmation and acts of service, is the way by which Johnny can express his love for her in a way she will understand love. So, you understand what I'm trying to say? Hello? Yes? Come on, sister, now.
So first is physical touch.
Yeah.
Physical touch, the first one, and then acts of service, and then quality time.
Right.
And
Okay.
then the last is
Physical
words.
touch, acts of service, quality time. Now, thank you so much. Okay, now, you know what? There is something both have to work out. That's obviously clear. Yes? You agree? Yes? Both have to work out. There are few things where you are able to meet each other's love languages, but there are other areas where we need to what? Work. It doesn't happen over time. It doesn't happen over time. We have to intentionally. Now it is intentionally. That's why love is what? Hard work. Intentionally, you need to now understand, okay, this is thing that she expects, and this is what I have to give her. There's also third page. There's also third page. Can you also fill that and discuss with your husband and wife? We may not have time now. I think I already have crossed it. Sorry. I think we'll have to wind up now. But there is a third page. That third page, I would encourage you, if you have some free time, even today, please finish off, and then with your spouse have a discussion. Okay, let me just read that. Okay, now what is your primary love language? What makes you feel most loved by your partner? 3 ways to discover this include: what does your partner do or fail to do that hurts you the most? That will give you an idea about your most is the opposite of what hurts you most is probably your love language. What have you most often requested of your mate? In what way do you regularly express love to your partner? So these are things, I tell you, please don't take it lightly. No, we don't have to have a volcano eruption to sort it out. You know what? Sometimes, you wait until what? The top is gone, and then people come to counselors and all that. In some cases, it's gone beyond what could be done. So we don't have to wait for a volcano to erupt. There are things that we can easily sort out with God's grace. We all need, I want to say this again, we all need God's grace. We all need God's wisdom. We all need, you know what? That biblical perspective to handle our family life. Okay? I hope that this exercise will help you in a small way to actually understand each other better. And brother, if you can also make the copies of that and pass it on to others, sit together as a family and try to read it and understand. Any questions if you have? Just a couple of minutes. Any questions based on what we were discussing? Yes. Yes. The thing is, brother, with God's grace, we have something that the world doesn't have. Okay? We have the Spirit of God who is able to work in us and give us what is lacking. I have got testimonies of people know, who have literally know, thrown away their families and walked away, returned back, and they have become now family counselors. I know a couple of people who are involved in family ministries, and their own life stories are unbelievable. There is one couple by name Jose and Grisel, and you know them? Oh, Jose, yeah, Captain Jose. Their life story is unbelievable. And I know another friend, Peter and Sally, who are in Pondicherry. Amazing story again. Like, how do you live with a drunkard? How do you live with an womanizer? No? Now, how do you live with someone who has like wrecked everything? And then, when God touches and transforms them, they become channels of blessing to a lot of other families. So I think with God, we can. Okay? For any family, that's why for all the young people who are here, who are not yet married, can I see your hands? Hello. Right? Come on, Josh. Ah. Just one final word I want to give you all. Marry someone who is in the Lord. Because that always gives us a scope to work on, even if something goes wrong. You know what I tell people? If they don't listen to you, at least they should be willing to listen to the Lord, so that you can pray to the Lord to change that person. Okay? So make sure that you marry someone who is in the Lord. Thank you, and I hope some of the things that we discussed helps you.